Hey guys, Pelican here, and I'll be showcasing my PvP build for the Vengeance campaign, which lasts only about a week, so I wanted to get this out as soon as possible. I've included gameplay footage in the background, some outnumbered PvP as well, but I'll probably be making a more dedicated montage in the near future. Without further ado, let's get started. As you can see, I'm a Necromancer, and the reason I went with this class is because it has the best healing and defense for this campaign. It also has very good sustain, and all these qualities makes it very good because if you have played Vengeance already, you probably know it is extremely hard to survive outnumbered. Even against 2 or 3 players, most builds will crumble. No matter how good you are, you just really can't outheal everything. But I find that this build I've been able to survive 4 or 5 people sometimes, and even get a few kills in those situations, as you can see here. So I'll be going through and explaining all the skills that I'm using, and also be sharing tips on how to use them more effectively. There really isn't a whole much to go through, so I will try to make this fast. On the front bar, I have Bone Armor, Skeletal Mage, Flame Skull, Wall of Fire, Weakness to Elements, Frozen Colossus, and on the back bar, I have Sacrificial Bones, Expunge, Regeneration, Spirit Mender, Restoring Tether, and Bone Goliath. Let's start with the front bar. Bone Armor is just a standard resolve skill. Just try to keep this up at all times if possible. It also turns your body into a corpse, so you can use yourself as a corpse for any Necromancer abilities that require a corpse. And I'll go through more of this later. Next up is Skeletal Mage. This is a very strong damage over time ability, 14k over 4 seconds. It's also range, 28 meters, is unavoidable. And the best thing about this, in my opinion, is that it's very cheap, only costs 1.3k mag, and it also leaves a corpse behind at the location. So that's also very helpful. Next up is Flame Skull. This is your so-called your main spammable. Pretty much just a standard spammable, but it's nice to note that it does more damage than other similar spammables. As you can see, compared to Force Shock, costs the same, but it does a bit more damage. So it's really nice skill to have. Next up is Wall of Fire. This is our last damage ability. Does 17k over 5 damage, which honestly is quite high considering it's an AoE skill, even more than Skeletal Mage, although it's more expensive. And I really like this because it's undodgeable, so I like to use it when people are rolling to apply the dot to them. It's also AoE, so it's nice. It's nice to damage multiple people at once. Sometimes the best way to 1vx on Vengeance is to apply some AoE dots and then see which targets are less likely to heal. Like, see which targets are more oblivious to their current health, and then you can try to focus them down when they are vulnerable. So this really helps with that. You can also go with Destructive Touch if you want a single target and it's cheaper. But personally, I really like Wall of Fire. I tried both. Lastly is Weakness to Elements. This skill is very important. It applies breaches to your enemies, so you'll make them take a lot more damage. It is a bit expensive, but that's not an issue because you won't really be applying this much because it lasts 30 seconds. So sustain is not a concern here. Finally, for our ultimate, we have Frozen Colossus. This will put a huge AoE on the ground, and it will deal, depending on how long they stay in it, it can do quite a bit of damage. In my opinion, this is not a very good ultimate, but you really don't have any choice here. The only other offensive out you have is Elemental Storm, but in my opinion, that's just even worse. It takes 2 seconds to build up, so most people can just get out of it by then. At least with Colossus, you can usually guarantee at least 1 or 2 hits. Try to use this skill in tight spaces or around a corner. It's really good when people are very, I guess, thirsty, like they are so tunnel vision trying to kill you that they might just ignore the Colossus and just take the full damage, and that's when you can actually turn the fight around. I've had a few situations like that, so that's how you want to use this skill in my opinion. Next up, for our back bar, first skill is Sacrificial Bones. This is a very, very nice skill. It gives you major berserk, but in my opinion, that's not the best part of this skill. The best part is that it is a very good corpse generator. It only costs 1.3k mag, and it generates a corpse every time without fail. It's not like bone armor where there's a cooldown of 10 seconds. So this is very nice. This is very nice to have. Try to use it before you go on the offense for the additional damage boost, but I'll explain its main purpose more in depth later. Next up is Expunge. Now this is probably the best skill in my opinion in this campaign. It removes 2 negative effects on yourself, and it gives you a lot of recovery just for being slaughtered, which again is very helpful in Vengeance. Now it costs 2k health, but let me emphasize this, 2k health is practically free in this campaign. The HP, healing and damage stats and damage that you take in this campaign is so boosted that 2k health is practically nothing. Like for example, even regeneration will give you like average 6k healing every second, and the damage you take, I mean people will hit you for like 10k, 18k, so 2k is practically nothing, and removing 2 negative effects is very huge in this. Dots are a huge killer in Vengeance, especially now that weapon skills are added. There are a lot more options for dots, and if you have like more than 4 dots on you, you're practically dead. There's almost no way to survive. So this, in my opinion, makes it the best skill in the game right now for Vengeance. Download a buff tracker or something, and as long as you even see 1 or 2 negative effects on you, just purge it. It is worth purging for sure, because there are only so many negative effects there are only so many different negative effects in Vengeance, and all of them are quite detrimental. Next up is Regeneration and Spirit Mender. These 2 skills fulfill practically the same purpose. The only difference I find is that Spirit Mender, if you're in a group, you can choose who to target better. But yeah, these two skills are practically the same. Normally, I just cast both of them. Finally, we have Restoring Tether. Now, this is the skill that I want to spend more time explaining. In my opinion, using this skill well is what will determine how well you do on this build. So this skill is a burst heal, as you can see. It's also free, but it does require a corpse to activate. So what that means is that you want to try to keep a corpse active on you as much as possible. And if you come across a situation where you are casting like multiple corpse generating skills in a row, like for example, if you were to cast Bone Armor and then cast Sacrificial Bones, you want to try to not waste those corpses and just use Restoring Tether unless you're already full HP, because this skill is free and is very strong. Try to utilize your corpses as much as possible. So your performance on this build will largely depend on how well you can generate, how well you can track, and how well you can use your corpses. The best part about this skill, in my opinion, is the execute scaling. I've gotten like 30k crit heals with this. This can really turn a fight around. And some people do not like the delay that it has, but personally I find it to be an advantage having a delay, because it allows me to go on the offense easily. So for example, I can jabate people. Like if I'm low HP, I can cast this, swap to my front bar, and then go on the offense. And normally it will keep me it will keep me alive long enough to get a few hits in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And finally, for the last ultimate, honestly, you can slot anything here. I just put Goliath because I have no idea what to slot. I don't really like the resto out. The tooltip is quite shit in my opinion. And I guess you can slot Reanimate if you are playing in a group for an AoE rest. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.